Hello, gentle people, and welcome to another Sparrow Art Vibes video tutorial. If this is your first time visiting my channel, I hope that you will take away something that you can use in your crafting and creating. If you are a returning viewer, I hope that you are inspired to create something absolutely beautiful. In my previous video number 115, I created ceramic coasters using a product called resi-BLAST. Shout out to one of my subscribers, Main Topic Grade A, who asked me about resi-BLAST versus silicone. So in today's tutorial, I will compare the two. So, what materials do we need? We do need our silicone mold, and you will notice that this one already has silver resin in it because I started making these coasters and then decided to use this as a tutorial. So there's already silver resin in that mold. I am a loyal CraftSmart resin user. CraftSmart Part A resin, CraftSmart Part B hardener. And again, if you are a repeat customer in Michaels, you get rewards points, $10 rewards vouchers, and if you add that to a 30 or 40% discount, you're basically buying your resin at 50% off. We need our measuring bowl. We need the stir stick for the measuring bowl. We need our nitrile gloves. We are going to be using 3 colors of resin, so we need 3 paper cups, 3 stir sticks for those cups. I'm using 3 different brands of resin this go round. I will be using the Mayspring Sterling Lining, and that's what you already see right there. I'll be using the Rolio Silver Ash, kind of a charcoal gray, and then again kind of have a metallic thing going, so we're going to go with the Pearl X Super Copper. And then because this is actually comparing 2 methods, we will be using a product called resi-BLAST. And what I originally used when I was doing acrylic pour painting, this product that I purchased in Home Depot called Blaster Silicone. And that's it. We'll get these off the table and we'll get started. Okay, first thing we need to do is mix our resin. I'm always talking about how important it is to mix your resin accurately. These molds, all my molds, I always measure and mark before I get started how much resin I need. So these require 60 milliliters, and so 6 times 4 is 24, which means we need 240 milliliters. However, this measuring cup says 250, but there is not a halfway mark on here. And so to make sure I'm measuring accurately, I'm going to use the opposite side and use the fluid ounces, because 200, and I have this chart that I keep hanging up here on the wall, and so according to this chart, 240 is just about 8 fluid ounces, so we're going to use the ounces instead of milliliters this go round. You don't have to watch me mix and color the resin if you already know what you're doing. However, if you are new to this, I do always say make sure you follow the manufacturer's instructions, and in the instance of CraftSmart, they are telling us to make sure we are doing a mixing ratio of 1:1 by volume, and that we are slowly mixing for a minimum of 5 minutes. So that's what I'm going to do. So we will do 4 ounces of the Part B hardener. Four ounces of the Part A resin. And we have our timer set for 5 minutes. Okay, so now we're going to pour I think I need a larger cup. Oh, I need a bigger cup. Okay, and then I'm going to save some of the clear resin, and I'll show you. Let's see. Alrighty, so let's get to mixing here. I'm going to start with the super copper. Okay, so there's our super copper. I'll set that there out the way. And then our silver ash. Okay, so there's our silver ash. And then our sterling lining. And that's our sterling lining. And so again, I had already poured the silver into the rim of these 2 molds when I decided to use this as a tutorial. So what we're going to do, since we are comparing resi-BLAST with regular silicone, is I'm going to do the border on this one in copper, and that way we'll know for sure which is which. We'll just put 2 different borders on them, and then there'll be no confusion. Oh, I can't really do this far. I can't really do this far back. That's a little more. Let's get rid of some of that. I can take the heat gun and level that out. On here, so we're just going to wipe this. We'll wipe that out of there. Okay, now let me explain, and I hope this makes sense when I say this. Resi-BLAST and silicone, you pour your resin and then you add the resi-BLAST and the silicone, and it separates on the surface. It moves the resin on the surface. It does not move the resin underneath. What that means for us is, if I put resi-BLAST, pour my resin now, put resi-BLAST on it, these coasters are in mold, so you flip them over, you won't be able to see the resi-BLAST effect on the bottom side, which will then be the top side of the coaster. So we're just going to pour these right now. Just a regular resin pour, random, no rhyme or reason to the coloring. And then once these are cured, we will flip them over, and then we will do the resi-BLAST and the silicone on the other side. That way, when it rises to the surface, you can see it. So we're going to start with, let's see, let's do some silver ash in here. Let's get some silver ash in here. Get some silver ash in here. And let's get some sterling lining through here. Let's get some sterling lining through here. Some sterling lining there. Some there. Some more there. Some of the copper in here. Some copper in here. Some copper over here. Some copper over here. Let's do some copper over here. Some copper over here. Some copper over here. Oh, I guess we need some more copper on this side to kind of balance things out. Okay, and then some more silver. these out. Okay, now remember that I did not use all of the resin. I kept some clear. So we're just going to pour some clear through here. Whee! That was a lot. And the purpose of the clear is when we flip this over and we add the silicone and resi-BLAST to the other side, you'll be able to better see the effect if you've got a clear background. Okay, so heat gun to pop any bubbles. And I'm not concerned about using the heat to move this resin. I'm not going to use a stir stick to move this resin because we're not really interested in this side of the coasters. We're interested in the other side. So all we're going to do now is cover these and let them cure. I am back and it is time to unmold these. And let's see what we're working with here. Again, we were not really that interested in the back side because we are going to put resin on the front side. But let's get these unmolded. So that's the back side, and when we turn it over, that's the front side. And so this one has the copper rim. And again, that's the back side, which we are not really interested in. That's the front side that we're going to change. Although I really do like that clear resin. I like that clear resin in there because it adds some depth. But that's the back side with the gray, and that's the front side. Well, that really looks metallic. Yeah, I love that clear through there. Gives it depth and dimension. Okay, so again, our back, and that's our front. And so I think for the sake of clarity, let me get a post-it note and let me label Well, you know, I can just do the same thing with the cup. I'm going to just label 2 cups so we know which we're working with here. So we're going to put resi on that one, and we're going to put silicone on that one. And so now that these are unmolded, the next step is to mix and color our resin. I have a preference for coasters that have a rim, because I have these other really pretty coasters. Let me see. Let me grab you a pretty. I have these coasters, which I happen to think are absolutely stunning. But if you have a container that has a lot of condensation, a bottle or a glass or whatever, the condensation can run off the edge. And so I sell these primarily because they're so beautiful, but in terms of practical, I have a preference for these that have the rim. So that being said, we now want to mix the resin. When I'm doing a personalization, I'll put the text, vinyl, artwork, or whatever on here, and then pour a clear coat to seal it in. The clear coat is normally 40 milliliters, but because we want to make sure we have enough on here so that you can see how the resi-BLAST and the silicone work, we're going to do 80. And so my measuring cup is marked. Let me get my gloves on. If you know what you're doing, obviously you do not have to watch me mix and color resin. These videos are time-stamped, so you can fast forward through this. Part B, hardener, 40 milliliters. Part A, resin, 40 milliliters. And we know with Craft Smart it's a 5-minute mix. We used 3 colors initially: the copper, the sterling silver, and the silver ash. If you go to the resi-BLAST website, they recommend that you use white. They suggest you use white. So what we're going to do is divide this into 3 cups. With most of it being in the first 2 cups, so this is not really evenly divided. So we're going to use, we are going to do, again, our copper. Oops. That's the Pearl X Super Copper. So that's our Super Copper. And this is our Rolio Silver Ash. that's our silver ash, and they recommend using white, and I almost don't want to use white now that I've got the video going. And I've divided this. Let me see. Okay, tell you what we're going to do. We're going to get another cup, and we're going to use half of this for the white. But we're going to use the other half of this again for our sterling silver. It will be just a little bit. This is the thing, you have one thing in mind and then you start working with it and then you change your mind. Okay, so our sterling silver, or our silver lining, excuse me. This is silver lining. When I was doing acrylic pour painting, I used two different whites. I used the Casting Craft opaque pigment concentrate, and I also used this Armor Art. Is that what it's called? Yeah, Armor Art epoxy pigment. The description for this said this was specifically created for cells, so we're going to use this white. I didn't have it in the materials because I wasn't really doing white, but since I'm trying to follow what resi-BLAST recommends, we're going to do this in white. This almost is dried up. Oops, there may not be enough in here too, actually. That's kind of, you can tell that hasn't been used in a long time. It's not even liquid anymore. Let's see. Can I get it white? Well, I might have to use the Casting Craft. Now that's something that you normally don't do, is mix brands of colorant. I can't get this. I can't get this to be. Well, now. I didn't want white to begin with. Okay, let me let that sit for a minute. I think I'm gonna have to redo my materials list to include all these extra cups. It's not an opaque white, but it is white. Okay, so I'm not entirely sure how this will work out if I put this white in here because it's not mixing. Stuff was dried out. But it'll give us a little bit of white. Okay, so here what? Let me see. Let me move these over here. Let me put that there and that there. So that says resi-BLAST. So I am not going to pour the resi-BLAST out of the container. If you look at the insert here on screen, you'll see the prices of resi-BLAST vary widely, but it's an expensive all things being equal, it is a relatively, take 2. Okay, I am not going to take the resi-BLAST out of the container and put it in something else. This is a fairly expensive, well, relatively expensive additive. So I'm going to leave it in the bottle and just take it from the bottle. The BLAST or silicone lubricant, on the other hand, I am going to spray into this little cup and use it from there. So let me move this. So you see I have a little bit in there. Okay, so what we are going to do, this is the silicone on this side, this is the resi-BLAST on this side. I don't know if you can see that or not. Okay, so all I'm going to do is just pour these resins and again, I'm not doing any particular design or anything, just pouring this on here. And then the silver, I guess I could have done a better job of boy, that silver is silver. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is just pop the air bubbles and warm this a little bit. Experience has taught me that the resi-BLAST, not really the silicone so much, but the resi-BLAST definitely works better on warm resin. So we're gonna unbeknownst to me, my memory card was full, so we got as far as me pouring the resin into the coasters, but you did not see me add the resi-BLAST or the silicone. So I am now going to try to recreate that real quick, like just using these two coasters. So the first thing we need to do is just pour some resin. I colored the resin, mixed and colored the resin off camera, because wasn't no point in watching me do that again. So we're just adding some resin. And these are the colors that I had. I'm just going to pour some in there. I'm going to pour some more over here. And these are basically demo coasters, really. Silver there. Pour some more silver there. Pour some more silver there. Pour some more there. Oh, let's drop some in there. And some more of the silver ash. Alright, and if you go to the resi-BLAST website, they recommend that you add white. So let me just pop the air bubbles in this first. So I have mixed some white, and I'm just going to drizzle this across here. Not being particular about it. Now I can tell you from experience with working with the acrylic pour painting that the silicone and the resi-BLAST work better when the resin is warm. So now I am going to, let me make sure this thing is recording. Yep, okay, so I am going to just heat this resin. And then I have sprayed the blast or silicone into this little cup, and so now I'm just going to drop drops of silicone in here, and that way you can see how this moves. And again, this works as a dispersion. And you can see how those cells are moving. So again, we're going to heat this because these all work better with warm resin. And the concept behind using the white that was one drop. Look at that. Boy, this is some powerful stuff. And again, it moves more when the resin is warm. So I just wanted to make sure that you could actually see the movement, how these actually move. So that's the resi-BLAST. Whee! This stuff is stuck to this this pad. So resi-BLAST and the silicone. And so we leave that. But I wanted to make sure that I went back and just mixed some resin in a coaster. But there you have it. You get to see the difference in how they reacted. And these didn't react like the finished ones did, interestingly enough. And I'm not going to touch them. I'm not going to add any more heat to them or anything. That's it. That's the recreation. So one quick thing that I did want to point out is when we did the initial coasters, I said we were not concerned about what the back looked like because we were going to be pouring on the front. that whatever is on here does not come through back here. So now that these two recreations, I'm going to call them, have cured, and we take them out of the mold, I can show you what I was talking about. Okay, so that's the front where we poured the silicone, and you get the cells, but that's what the back looks like. So that is not what we wanted. That's the back. That's the cell. So this really does only take place on the surface. Want to make sure you understand that. So again, this one was the one with the resi-BLAST. Let's unmold it. I can use these as like paperweights or something. So again, that's the front with the cells, but that's what the back looks like. So make sure when you are working with this that you understand that the surface that you put the silicone or resi-BLAST on is going to be the surface you're looking at, because when you flip these over, that's not what you're wanting. Okay. All right, we have poured these and allowed them to cure. So let's do a look-see. All right. These are gorgeous. Take a look-see. Very nice. I like the way that, what do you call it? That silver ash is showing up. Okay, so we are going to look at these close up. And so these are the ones done with the silicone. And I actually don't see any pits. I don't see any depressions. I'm turning this to the light. This didn't leave any depressions on that one. Same with here, that's perfectly smooth. Wow. No pits, no divots. Look at that. You'd see them when I turn this to the light. Really nice. And let's see. And not that oily, actually. All right, so then let's look at the ones done with the resi-BLAST. No divots per se, but you do see the rings. You do see the rings from the resin. Let's see. Yep. That's just oil residue. But again, this too didn't leave any divots. Let's take a look. Yeah, what you have, the rings that there are no divots, no depressions on here. Very nice. But what you do have are oil rings. So let's compare these two. How do they stack up? 6 in one hand, half dozen in the other. I think what I do see is on the ones done with the resi-BLAST, you have little white circles. You have these little white, can you see them? Little white circle there. Let me point. Ooh. Got a little white circle there, there, wherever. I've got these little white dots on here. Are they on the other one? Different. But yes, there's a white dot there, there. Yeah, the resi-BLAST left the little white dots, but other than that, I don't know. They look about this. They look about the same. I think I like the silicone in that it's cleaner, but let me wipe these off. So we want, again, I use 91% isopropyl alcohol. And so what I was going to say was if these left divots, then we just do a clear coat, but we don't even have to do that. This is smooth. This is, I'm satisfied. Yeah, get that residue off. Oh, this is much, ooh. Okay, now you see the dents in here. Okay, alrighty. Now we have the big difference. Yep. Let me just put some alcohol on that. The resi-BLAST was actually filling in the depressions. Let me show this to you. Yeah, now the depressions show up. So now if I come back over here and put it in the light, now you can see the dimples. See the little depressions? See there? When the light hits it, the little sinks. Yep. Look at that. So on the one done with the resi-BLAST, you would need to do a clear coat to get rid of those sinks. All of those little depressions that show up. Wherein on these, with the silicone, perfectly smooth. Yep, the silicone perfectly smooth, but the one with the resi-BLAST, once you wipe the oil off, then you see all the depressions. Wherever there's a cell, there's a depression. Let me clean off the other one just to make sure that that wasn't just a one-off. Note there's little divots, little depressions on this one as well. Alright, so again, you can see the little dents, the little sink, almost like sinkholes, see? And the light hits it. See the little... So that would be the one thing I'd say about the resi-BLAST, is that it leaves depressions in your resin, so you'd have to do a clear coat on these. I think I'll sand this set and put rubber bumps on the silicone set. I like the silicone set. And my 3M rubber bumps. Okay, and now the silicone, the set done with silicone, I will use. I think those are gorgeous.